Hey guys, alrighty, so happy hump day. It is Wednesday. Overall, this has been a good week. Monday we had a good stream. Yesterday I actually had a rare day of pre-market trading, so I took a trade about 8 a.m. Actually ended up working out really nicely, hit my daily goal, so I did hang out, I did watch opening, and then I kind of went on about my day. So right now, I have already secured my payout from my funded futures. Can you guys see my chart? Because on my end, it is showing an error. So I want to make sure you guys can actually see stuff. All right, cool. On my error, it says there's an error, so I didn't know what was going on with that. But anyway, so yeah, this morning I got my $100 on my funded futures, so I did secure about $4,000 in payouts there. So that's awesome. Last night I did secure $7,500 in payouts from FNF. And I did get that payout this morning. So today's goal is about $600. I have that one FNF account that's off just a little bit, which is annoying. So the goal there is to hit that goal of $600 today, so that will secure that payout. At the same time, that will start the next round of payouts for the other 5 FNF, and that will put me at day 3 of 5 for my Tradify account. So good day here so far. This week I had a goal of about 31,000 in payouts. It just kind of fell that way because of the way some of the payouts fell and whatnot. And as of right now, once I secure this FNF account, I'll be about 60% of the way there. So I would just need 2 more days of green and we can pull out an amazing week of profit. So here we go. Looking at the market here. Let me go close the door. The dumb dog is growling at people. Okay, so we did get a nice little pop-up overnight. It took us to an interesting area on the daily. It's at 66.59 and 24.757 area. That is previous critical support and demand. So right now, on futures-wise, we are actually back testing off of that, and we did get a nice rejection. So that does favor some downside. We have a big day today in the fact that apparently Trump is speaking at noon, and then we have FOMOC minutes at 2 o'clock. Remember, this is just the minutes. This is not a meeting. It's just a recap of previous meeting. There is some chatter that this could be a pretty hawkish meeting. So if you remember, first off, they have not had data in almost 2 months now, and likely before the next meeting, we might not even have an actual CPI print. So a lot of it is speculating that there is going to be a bit more hawkish of a Fed. And even Jay Powell himself on the FOMOC meeting last time was pretty hawkish, despite the cutting the rate. So expectations would be that we're not going to see a rate cut at this next meeting. And then after hours, of course, is NVIDIA. They are reporting. So that will be a big move. Part of me thinks we're going to see a really kind of non-exciting, sort of flattish, choppy day today because of those earnings. Likely, we will see the 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. time frame have a big move. But there has been a couple times lately on these earnings days, especially NVIDIA, where we get power hour, a massive move. I know a couple times in the last probably 2 years, I would say, we have had ginormous run-ups during power hour. I mean, a massive, like 300-point, 400-point runs on NQ. So are we going to get that today? I don't know. Probably not. but it is a potential. It is also notable that they have not done super hot lately on their earnings. Really only one out of about the last 4 earnings have they actually had a big move to the upside despite beating EPS. So that's notable. All right, so here we go, getting started here. Right now, we are keeping eyes on support at 66.38 and 24.581. That's kind of our range that we're watching here. We'll call our range 66.38 to 66.66 and 24.581 to 24.717. We are in a downtrend, so of course that sets us up for downside movement. And we are rejecting the EMAs lower. Now over at VX and VIX, we are technically in a downtrend over there too, as the EMAs are technically resistance right now. So we're kind of sitting here in a little bit of an interesting spot. Again, it kind of plays that favor of chop versus direction. So right now, what I am mostly seeing is if we close a 5-minute candle under 66.38 and 24.581, likely we're going to see the downside to 66.16 and 24.463. However, if this demand and range support holds, likely a back test off 66.58 to 66.66 and 24.686 to 24.717 are coming. So I don't have a good move here. We're waiting essentially for that range to break. Again, my goal in the day is about 30 points, so I'm just kind of waiting and seeing if we can find that move. Generally speaking, shorting, despite strong sellers right now, into overnight range support and demand is not the best idea. So we're going to wait, hopefully, for this 5-minute to close. We'll hopefully get a little bit of a back test, and then we can go ahead and jump in. We were talking about in the Discord this morning, there are some changes to the Funded Next Futures accounts, FNF. Nothing too crazy. I think the biggest thing to note is the Legacy's actually got a pretty good, I actually think the changes for the Legacy account are actually pretty good. Basically the changes they made is no consistency after passing eval. It is now 5 days of trading for a payout. Minimum $500 payout, but there is now, which I'm not surprised to see this because some people were running these legacy accounts up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. A 6K max withdrawal on 50K accounts, so that's not too surprised. The biggest thing that I think is a negative is, of course, the fact that they went to an 80-20 profit split. So that does hurt us rapid guys a little bit. You know, takes off almost $1,500 of profit there. So that is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. So it's part of the game, part of trading. You know, that's kind of something I've always talked about for a long time now. Is that there are plenty of prop firms out there. Now, there's not always good prop firms out there, but there's plenty of prop firms out there. And you just got to find which one really works for you, which one makes sense for you. It really, really is a game. Prop firms are a game. Anybody that says otherwise is lying. You are playing a game. There's rules. You follow the rules, you get paid. You break the rules, you lose. I mean, that's as simple as it is. So you have to find the prop firm that fits your trading style, your risk to reward, and just your general plan of trading. So, you know, there's a lot of people that like the previous legacy accounts where they can run them up as high as they want. They can run $100,000, $200,000 in profits up and then they take a payout. That's great for them, but for me, that's not my style. I am very much so goal oriented. I would like to say, like my Rapids, you make $500 over $300 or $500 for 3 days in a row, and you can take $1,500 in each account. For me, that is my trading style. I have a goal, I accomplish the goal, I get paid. I like that. For me, whenever I have these big accounts where you can run them up as high as you want and there's really no goal, I always end up over trading. I end up saying, oh, well, I'm up $600 today, but there's no reason to stop because why can't I be up $1,200? Why can't I be up $2,000? And then you end up giving back profits, and it's just kind of a vicious cycle. So I know a lot of people hate consistency for that reason too, but for me, I like consistency because it says, you know, once I hit $600 in a day, what should I do? I should stop. Why? Because that's my goal. That's my consistency. It keeps me at a good level. I feel like 30 points for me is pretty, not easy, but it's an obtainable goal per day. So for me, that works. All right, so back to the market here. VX and VIX are getting a nice rejection here. Again, that's where I was talking about. They were in that downtrend. The EMAs did reject. Now moving over to ES and NQ, you can see 66.38 and 24.581. Boom, big bounce there. We almost were thinking about going lower, but as now we have, we have some buyers coming in here. We have a big 15-minute double bottom, and now we are testing resistance. So at this point, 66.58 to 66.66 and 24.866 to 24.717. Those are our levels to watch. I would likely need to see a 5-minute closure over 66.66 and 24.717 before I would entertain a long. With that being said, the 5-minute ORB resistance is sitting at 24.655. So technically, the 5-minute ORB breakout does come when you close over that level. But again, just like I was talking about shorting into demand and support, this is exactly why we don't do it. You don't want to long in to supply and resistance of the overnight range either. So again, good spot to kind of sit cash. A move will come. We're kind of just sitting, chopping in a range here. There's not a solid yet, just the direction of where we're going to go. So just kind of being patient here. Wow, Google is straight ripping up almost 4%. That is impressive. Alrighty, so again, just kind of sitting here, just being patient. There is a potential play here of the rejection off of the range resistance, which could then obviously take us lower. But right now, this is a good place to just kind of sit cash. Okay, we got 2 seconds to close here. So again, technically this is a 5-minute ORB breakout. We closed over 66.51 and 24.655. That is the 5-minute ORB. Let me pull this up here so you guys can see it. So you see right here, that's that 66.50, and there's that 24.655. So again, what does that signal? Well, technically it signals a breakout. That's the opening range breakout. So the 5-minute opening range is right here. We just closed over it. Now, what I don't like, obviously, is if you come to the 15-minute chart down here, you have 3 supply and resistance levels on both ES and NQ. So again, does that make it a good long? No. So sometimes, you know, yes, we get these breakouts and get these setups, but I don't take them because they're not A+. Now, if this candle would have closed over 66.66 and 24.717, I think absolutely this would be a great long opportunity, and likely we could come up into this 24.778 and, you know, 66.80 area, but I don't see that yet. We do have some stronger buyers. You could take this now backtesting 24.655 and bouncing as the entry to break out, and likely we are going to go up to 24.717 here, but and here's the bounce at 66.52 on ES, up to likely again 66.66. But for me, it's just not. It's almost becoming the A+ breakout that I want to take, but it's not quite there just yet. Again, if you objectively zoom out on the 15-minute time frame, we still have not broken out of the range. And while yes, again, ORB is suggesting the breakout here, you have a lot lower of a win rate taking a long into range resistance and taking a short into range support than you do waiting for it to close and then taking the opportunity here. So there is, again, 24.717. So had we taken it when we got that little back test, by the time I saw it, we probably would have got about 20, maybe 30 points there. But again, the high probability, it wasn't there just for me just yet. I'm okay watching a play go by. It's still early. We want A+. We want to make sure we're taking a good, solid play. Now, with that being said, we are setting up here, and VX and VIX are getting really, really nicely crushed here. We are setting up for, if this can close over, I would say minimally 66.58 on ES, but ideally on NQ 24.717, we are setting up for a big breakout to really 24.777 to 24.837 area. So we got about a minute and a half here for that to happen, and then likely I will be looking for a long opportunity here. So see if we can zoom out. There you go. This is the 5. We'll stay zoomed in on the 5. So here's our 15-minute zoom out. So you can see what I'm saying here, and then we got all up to 66.80 on ES. Starting to look good for that upside move for sure. So this new candle here is going to put a new demand and support in at 24.610 and 66.42. I am liking, again, the upside. We are breaking that key overnight range support resistance and supply. So now I would like, ideally, with aggressive buyers, I'd love to see a 24.717 back test, and then boom, we break out. It looks like they're going to take her straight up to 24.776 though before we can get that. But I am looking for a long opportunity. I'm looking for that 24.777 to 24.837 area. Okay, so here's our little rejection to the downside. This is that test here. Now, if we fall through 24,717, we could go all the way down to 24,695 area. But again, buyers look good. Upside looks good. That really might have been our test right here. Let's go ahead and get in this one.
Order filled.
Why does it look so small? There we go. All right, so I am in on the long. So again, we closed over our range resistance. We have stronger buyers. VX and VIX are pushing lower. We already broke previous 5-minute candle resistance. This is A+, at least 24,777, but again, 24,838 is really my target here. Again, we could come back down more aggressively to 24, really, I would say 695 area, maybe down to 675. But as of right now, the odds are better with that quick back test that we're going to push higher first. If it does reject, though, it likely will be a pretty big rejection because this would be a failed breakout here.
Stop fail.
All right, unfortunately, she did fail, so a little stop out there. Oops. Button here. So now we're going to look and see if this is going to play out as a 15-minute double top and go lower, or if this is just a little bit bigger of a pullback than I was expecting. We might honestly have just gotten hunted there. That's what it was looking like. ES going for the push. Let's see if I get a small little slap back down. Then I might try to get another long here. VX and VIX making a new low. Strong buyers.
Order filled.
Okay, we're backing on a long here. ES is now leading the upside. Again, the downside failed. I do think that we just got hunted. I think maybe we're just a little too early on our long there. So I'm watching this. Got about a minute and a half here. Again, I think 777 to 838 is going to get touched. So I'm content holding here. I like this long. I'm not going to add to it. I know sometimes I do add on these breakouts like this, but being conservative, so... Okay, we are going to keep our 5-point break even just in case, because I already took a loss, so we want to be conservative. So there's a 10-point break even. I will put that back down to 5 just because I want to be able to play this next 30 seconds out here. Hopefully they won't sweep us down, but they might. It's one of those ones where you I want this to run. I feel that this is going to be our big target. I don't really want to get stopped out, but they're probably going to stop us out. Let's just do break even. At least it won't be a loss, but it's tough because you want it to run. I trust it, but I don't obviously want to take a loss when I'm already down 20 points. So we are still alive here so far.
Stop fill.
Okay, they got us back out. Okay, so now again, still liking the upside. Buyers are fading a little bit. We did get my 77 there, but then we had a big rejection off of it. So I still like the upside. VX and VIX are still downtrending. So the up still looks good. Again, we just don't want to get stopped out again. So we got to be kind of conservative here in our movement. So we are seeing a little bit more of a rejection here on ES than we are on NQ. Again, still have some buyers, still seeing VX, VIX come lower. We maybe could jump back in and continue to take this long here. But again, I don't want to get swept out again. So we gotta. It's kind of choppy, you know. We're coming down, we're touching these rejection, and then we're pushing again. So these type of moves are a little bit harder for me, at least, to get in on. And there she goes, man. That was the play. So that last long, it was the play. It was a good play. We're about 5 points from hitting my profit that I needed to have my daily goal, if we held, of course. But again, you know, I was not in a position where I felt like that was a smart move to just put no stop loss, or take a full stop loss rather. So it is what it is. We're still patient here. See kind of where we go with this next candle here. We got about 2 minutes till close. We're starting to tick through this resistance area now. VX and VIX are still dropping. So again, downside for VIX is looking great. So upside for the market is also looking good. It is just a matter of now of finding that good pullback to get in on a long. And I think on that long, we would have been really close. Had we held it through the drawdown, we would have been really close to getting stopped out at another full loss. So obviously would not have been ideal. But there she goes. She's just ripping now. VX and VIX are really, really getting sold off here now too. Almost 8% drop on VIX now. So now we're coming into our last resistance. That's at 66.80 and 24.837 area. That's what I was talking about. That's where I thought we might go up to. So from here, next level really is 24.951. So again, basically, I'm just trying to find some sort of reasonable pullback to get in onto a position, whether that's this next play or this next 5-minute candle, or if we wait for the next 15-minute candle, we shall see what we get here. All right, so we closed basically right at that 837 and 66.80 area. Again, VX falling, VIX falling, buyers are there. I'd like to see, again, a pullback, and then we can maybe consider going long. This is only about a 400-point day so far, so there's plenty of room. Daily-wise, it looks like we're setting up for that 67.17 and kind of 24.980 retest. That would be the daily 50 EMA. We could even take it up to 67.35 or 25.070 area, which is the 8 EMA. All right, I took a long here.
Order filled.
We're going to set an early break even, good entry.
Stop filled.
Playing a little bit defense. I don't like playing these big, huge, aggressive moves. You just never know when they're going to reverse to the downside. So I like to kind of be a little bit more aggressive with my stop loss. It is what it is if I get stopped out. So obviously I got stopped out again there. But I'd rather get stopped out at break even than to take a full loss. You know, we're kind of getting these big 10-point pops and then boom reversal. So it's tough to stay in a position, at least for me here, and really trust it. So, but as long as VX and VIX are dumping like they're dumping, I don't see anything but upside. I'm really just trying to find a good long opportunity. I've had a couple obviously, but I'm getting stopped at break even. So certainly I hate these big moves because obviously, you know, if you look at the 15-minute candle, we're up 150 points on this 15-minute candle, and we're up pretty much 300, 400 points in the first 30 minutes of the day. Do we want to keep trading? Do we want to keep expecting this to go higher? The answer is yes, it should keep going higher, but obviously I don't want to get stopped out in the process of potentially catching a reversal. So for me, I'm just trying to find some sort of pullback to try to get in on here. So we got 2 minutes to close here. Again, anything over 66.80 and 24.837 is bullish. We could see some sort of pullback down to maybe 66.75 and 24.800 area before continuing higher. 67.07 and 24.951 is the next upside area to watch for. Well, again, if we would have held there, we'd be coming in pretty close to our daily goal. But again, you know, I'm definitely being conservative. Got a lot not a lot riding, but a big week ahead here with these profits. So I only want to take you know, A+ plays, and I want to be protective. So it is what it is. You know, I'm only down about 350 right now, so there's plenty of day left. Plenty of movement left to end up the day green here. And VIX is just getting straight crushed, down 9% now. So this is kind of, you know, I honestly thought Monday and Tuesday were going to be our sort of bounce day, if you would. But obviously, if you see Monday, we had that massive rejection off the EMAs that led us much lower and led us into yesterday's low. So, this looks like it's just kind of finally our push to the upside here. So now we have a closure over 66.80 and 24.837. Ideally here, we're going to come back down and touch that level, get a nice bounce, and then we'll make our move to 67.07 and 24.951 area here. There is a potential short right now. It's super risky down to the area, but again, I think the better play is to wait for the bounce and then take that to that 951 area. And right now, I just don't think the long entry is good because we have not really, if you're looking at it here, we're sitting pretty much not break even, but even with the thing there, or the previous 5 minute. I would like to see this come back down into this support, and then boom, we can wick up. That would be ideal. And even at the 15 minute, you can see how we've made such an incredible move here. Ideally, we go down to the 5 EMA support, but really, if we just come back down to range support there, that would be a good re-entry long. But anything up here, you're certainly risk a quick flash to the downside before the move to the upside plays out. So just being extra patient, I would say. The short I was talking about, though, does not look as good. It might hit super fast. We might get a quick wick to the downside. But as of right now, again, I'm just sort of sitting cash here. I don't see anything that looks too perfect just yet. I gotta say though, this thing has been pretty much for the last 30 minutes now, all gas, no brakes, just straight pushing. And there she goes, still going up. Again, it sucks watching this go by, trust me, because I wish I was in. I wish I had my daily goal on these last 2 longs that we took and set a break even. But one of the hardest things is if you take a play and you don't feel 1,000% confident in it, like I wasn't, because obviously I was worried about a little bit of a pullback first or some sort of reversal first, you are going to end up just either taking a loss or like me missing the move because you set a break even early. So, if you're not confident in the play, it's okay not to take it. This is a very impressive, I would call this a squeeze at this point, to the upside here. I'm very impressed that this keeps going. We have not had a red 5 minute, we've had one red 5 minute candle since 9:10. So again, since open, it's been all green, no red, not a single pullback, nothing. So that makes it tough to get in on a good play when it's moving like that. Okay, so again, here we go. VX and VIX still pushing lower. Yes, there's probably a long opportunity sitting right here. I'm sure you can enter. I'm sure you won't get stopped out. I'm sure you'll hit 951 and 6707. But for me, just being patient. There will come a pullback, whether it's on the 15-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame. There will give us a pullback that we can take a long or a short and find something that's a little bit more A plus than kind of, this is pretty FOMO-y right here, for me at least, as I look at this. After a 500 point, pretty much 500 point 30-minute move higher, feels very like FOMO if you were to take a long right here. Now at the same time, if you were to take a short just because we're up 500 points, you would just be fighting the trend, and that would be silly too. But I just don't have a good play here, so I'm just kind of sitting cash. And she just keeps going, man. So on the daily time frame now, we are starting to come up into that daily 50 EMA resistance. Very impressive move up today. So 24, 935, and 67.17 is the daily 50 EMA resistance. I do again think it's potential that we get to the daily 8 EMA resistance at 67.40 and 25.090 area by end of day too. That has been a good rejection spot too. So this is a big bounce obviously here on the daily. And it's not surprising to kind of see that bounce. This could be a little bit of people buying in before the earnings tonight, kind of anticipating that NVIDIA is going to bounce us to the upside. So but also, with the VIX getting crushed 10% now, and us being bounced back up to the EMA resistance, this does actually set up a even higher probability that tonight's earnings could send us lower. When we're so oversold, and which on the daily time frame, we were pretty oversold. And the VIX is already obviously super elevated, it makes it difficult to trust that we're going to continue to go lower. But now you have the technicals to support that we could go lower. I do think we're going to get a really big short opportunity at some point here, but I'm waiting to see VX and VIX bounce first. The 5-minute NQ candle is looking good for it already. That double top could set up a takedown lower. Again, I think 24,837 is a good target to watch for, but I would really like to see VIX and VX kind of lead that bounce to the upside here. So we are setting up now weaker buyers. Finally, for the first time since open, we have a potential in 30 seconds, 5-minute double top here also. We did reject off that 951 area, which is also obviously, remember, the 50 EMA resistance. So we're setting up the rejection here. I do not see the bounce I want to see on VX and VIX just yet, but we are setting up potentially to come lower. Now, they do have a tendency to trick us where they make us wait about 30 minutes for the next 15 or so candle before it plays out. But This is looking really solid to the downside here. I'm in short.
Order filled.
So the reason I took this short, and I'll try to pull it up real quick while this is playing out, and hopefully it'll play out for us, is this little double top right here with the doji. This, usually when the candle opens and it's flat like that, does signal a pretty good downside move coming, and we have the matching 15-minute there too. So I'm looking for a little bit of a downside move here, and it should be pretty significant, I hope. Could be a little early, but the setup was there and I wasn't going to let it go by.
Stop filled.
So they did get us, unfortunately. So again, I would take that short every time. You can see we had the double top with the long wick, and we started to play it out, but they just brought it back up. If you look at VX and VIX, they just are continuing to sell it off. So again, I like that short. I think that was a good short. I would take that absolutely again. But they just bought it back up there on us. George, I had up the VIX at one point, but it was just kind of too much going on, and people were saying they couldn't see enough. So I'm kind of left that off for now. Over time, that is something that we can kind of evaluate, though. All right, so touching 951 here. Again, we're down about 750 right now, so not a bad spot. You know, this is obviously very recoverable still. We are seeing, again, the 5 minutes start to show our downside weakness for at least just a back test. Now, again, I don't know if it'll be a full-on reversal. I kind of doubt it will be. But we are starting to see the reversal set up here. But again, like I was saying, sometimes they make us wait that extra 15 to 30 minutes. So I really would like to see VX and VIX give a bounce here so that way we can start to think about the short playing out. And if it plays out, it'll probably be pretty fast and pretty aggressive. It's kind of one of those tough ones. Like I said, we're up 500 points on the day already. I can't justify taking these longs here because now 5-minute buyers have broken. Yes, 15-minute buyers are still looking good, and yes, VX and VIX are still coming down, which is why I'm hesitant and being careful with the short. But we're just sort of stuck here. There's just no good play. You take your long and you hope it plays out, or you wait and eventually this will pull back. Again, that 5-minute candle looked good. That's about my A+ reversal candle that I look for. And it started to play out. You can see the long wick. It just didn't play out enough to get us what we needed there. So just sort of being patient here. We got about 30 seconds for this 15-minute candle to close, and maybe we can see if we can get the reversal lower here finally. So even that candle, I mean, look at that. As soon as that 5-minute candle opened, it just instantly pushed. I mean, not even a thought about it, just boom, pushed right up. So again, tough, and this is just tough movement. Squeezy movement. Very, very hard to just, you got to pretty much FOMO into the longs. But again, now we're sitting on that 50 EMA on the daily. I'm starting to see that reversal again. It's there. It will come at some point. Definitely don't want to be early on it. But I don't see a long opportunity here. We are so overextended on pretty much everything that the odds of it playing out are not super great. I mean, even more impressive on this 15-minute candle. The pullbacks are getting even less, I should say. So on this 15-minute candle, I mean, we opened at 24,942, and we had a 1-point pullback to 24,941 before pushing almost 40 points straight up. So again, you know, that's not really an ideal spot to get into a long, especially again when we ran up so much. So I'm just kind of sitting here. I'm being patient. I'm down about 750-ish, 770-ish right now, which is fine. Very recoverable. Just need to wait and find a good A+ play. And eventually it'll play out. And if it doesn't, you know, these accounts have had a great run. I did secure my funded futures payout today for $4,000, so that's great either way. And that does, with that $4,000, does put me at my best month of the year so far profit-wise. Obviously, I don't want to lose my FNF or my Trader Fee account, so I'm just being patient. But if in the off chance I do lose them, this has still been a great run for me on these accounts. So I'm very content with whatever happens. Okay, starting to see, at least on the 5 and 15 minute here, you're starting to see that long wick. The thing I don't like again, though, starting to see it on VIX, finally starting to see a little bit of a bounce here. But it's still not quite enough yet to trust it. But we're starting to see the little bit of a green bounce. Point of control on the 15 minutes is sitting right about 66.87 and right about 24,880, which is also the 15-minute 5 EMA resistance. So that's about 80 points lower. That would, generally speaking, be my reversal sort of area that we might go down and test. But again, we are straight squeezing. We are in extreme bull momentum on the 15-minute time frame and 5-minute time frame here. So again, I struggle to take the short, but I do think it's going to, again, attempt to set up the short for us. ES with a nice rejection right off 67.07. See if they close out that 5-minute red candle or not. 15 minutes is showing it now. We're getting that double top plan. But being patient here. ES is starting to bounce actually now, which is making, again, the short not nearly as favorable again. So there you go again. Bounce, no buyers. VX VIX slowly pushed up but fell back down. So again, it just can't get that movement to the downside. And obviously this is not an ideal long here. There's just not enough potential points to grab to trust a long, but obviously they're really, really doing a good job of baiting people into these shorts. I almost got baited in again there. I was real close to taking it. But I'm trying to be extra patient here. We're going to get a retest lower. I mean, we're going on an hour straight of green 15-minute candles.
Order filled.
Okay, I took the short here. So the reason I took the short here is, again, now we have that 5-minute double top. If you look at my Ninja little thing, you got the 5-minute double top there. We didn't quite break the high. So again, this does set up that we should come lower. VX and VIX are getting a little bounce. We now have 20 minutes of weaker 5-minute buyers on. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to let this run. 5-minute weaker buyers on ES and NQ, and we're setting up a perfect 15-minute double top. So we have a free play here. Either way, this is either going to stop us at a break even, or this is going to go down and we're going to get a really nice win here. Minimally, I see this going down to 24,900 and 66.90 area. Hopefully they don't sweep us out before it goes back down, but they're probably going to. Okay, so we've got 30 seconds to close. We'd like to see this candle close likely under 24,940 would be ideal, but we'll see where we get here.
Stop filled.
And unfortunately, stopped out at break even again. Just kind of the name of the game today. I just can't get a good, solid move. We had about 20 points there, and then instant reversal. It's just brutal. Definitely hard to win and recover losses when you get a big sort of, you just can't get continuation. I'm looking to get back in on a short here. All right. Okay, I'm short again.
Filled.
Okay, VX and VIX are playing out a nice bounce here. So this has good movement here for us. This looks solid. But this is one of those things all day I'm looking back on my trading. I'm like, man, if I just took 15 points every single time, I'd be so green right now. But of course, in the moment, you don't know that it's going to have an instant 40-point reversal. So, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Go ahead and set a break even for protection, of course. There's no trust. I just have no trust, you know. And I know I'm fighting the momentum. I know I'm fighting the direction. So I would rather set a break even than take a chance of getting stopped out. So. ES is looking stronger for the downside than NQ is currently. Got about 2 minutes to close here.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm backing in the short. The Bears really need to get this under at least 940, but ideally if we can get this under 930 here, there should be a pretty significant pullback. Again, VX and VIX both have the upside pop here. We have the big weakness in buyers. ES is breaking its point of control, so that's solid to look for that downside. We're just choppy. I'm looking just for that fast, quick flush. Hopefully to our take profit. Okay, so 5-point break even. I'm just leaving the 5-point. I'm just letting my triggers do its triggering. I'm going to try to maybe get out if I can at a good point. We're up 20 points. Again, this is one of those ones where it's tough because I'm not trying to be greedy, but at the same time I'm trying to play out my strategy where if I get in at a good place, which is my ideal entry here, then I should really be able to let this run for 30 to 50 points. So I don't want to close out at 15 points and then miss out again on that big run. But as you're seeing here, every single time, it's just fake bouncing basically. You know, it's giving me like 5 points and then boom, reversing. So we're just, this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th break even basically play of the day so far, which is extremely frustrating. So big weakness in buyers over on ES now on 5 and 15 minute. VX and VIX are popping a little bit here. NQ is certainly a little bit more stronger, but I do think as long as we don't break through pretty much 24,980, we should see a downside move here on both ES and NQ. So I'm going to get back in here.
Order filled. Order filled.
I added some risk here with 2 cons. We got the wick. It should go. I'm waiting for it to go. I'm trying not to be too greedy, but not too conservative. That's the problem. That's been the name of the game all day. Too greedy, and I don't get my full. Too conservative, and I stop out too early. So here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna close out right there. Okay, down $200 on the day now. So nice little win. Again, you know, I don't have to have it all in one big win here. I can take it every now and then. I tried to get out at a better spot there, but that was kind of a really terrible fill, to be honest. But that's okay. Oops.
Order filled.
Okay, back in on the short. Just 1 con here. There's no buyers anymore. So we've cleared that out. We are coming down off of the support there. Pretty much right now what we're doing is bouncing on point of control and attempting to push higher. And they very well might push higher. But the play is there. The retrace is there. This should be with our weakness and weakening buyers. This should be our downside move here. ES kind of fighting me here a little bit, which I don't love to see, but NQ's been leading though. There we go. ES is trying to join in now. Okay, break even set, because again, I have no trust.
Stop filled.
Man, this thing is annoying. It's tough because again, man, I'm trying not to let it reverse the wrong way on me, but I'm also trying to get my profit, and it's tough. I mean, this is just not, it's not giving me any sort of continuation that I need, or want, rather. Okay, we got, man, that was it. That was the stop out. If they didn't stop us there, this was going to keep going. Come back in.
Order submitted.
This should be our big flush.
Order filled.
Okay, apparently everybody didn't get in. Everybody's in now, thankfully. So we got, there's our close. We're sitting right on point of control. See if we can break below or not.
Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, I was like, I froze there. My stuff froze. But okay, I took a quick little scout. So I'm back up. I was down almost 1,000 at one point. I'm up 250 in all my accounts right now. I need minimally about 250 bucks more in order to get my daily goal. So I'm just sort of, I'm going to probably just have to do some hyper scalping here, which is super annoying, but it is what it is. Let me calculate where we're at here.
Order filled.
Okay, I need 20 points here. If I get my 20 points, then we will be at daily goal here. We are breaking through point of control. We had a back test off the high there, and we failed to push higher. That's at 940. VX and VIX are both pushing its previous high. This should give us our 20 points. This should be our play. Hopefully down to 24,980, which is the 15-minute 5 EMA support. If not, they're going to rocket this, and I'm going to get stopped out, and then we got to restart with our progress of trying to get strictly just $600 in the day. Again, just, man, there's just no freaking continuation, man. All right, so unfortunately stopped out there. So we're down $150 on the day now. Not a big deal. And it looks like they just kind of hunted us there, geez.
Order filled.
It looks like on our previous short we just barely didn't have enough drawdown. It looks like for it to play out. VX and VIX are getting a big pop here. I still like 24,880, so I'm in on my short here. We got about a minute to close. See if we can get some continuation flush lower. If not, if they reverse this 5-minute candle aggressively, which there's no buyers, which they shouldn't do it, then likely we're going to push back to high day. But right now, it looks strong to the downside. We're getting close. Just need a little bit more continuation. See if they actually give it to us. Setting my break even, of course, because, you know, don't want to take a loss if I don't have to. We'll actually be even more aggressive with our break even right there. Just need about 10 points of quick flush. Give me a quick wick lower, and boom, we're out. And we're done for the day. But it's going to bounce probably. It's looking like they're going to bounce it back to probably 935 first.
Stop filled.
Okay, back to break even on the day. Ah, they got us on that one.
Order filled. Stop filled.
All right, unfortunately, got us again there. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and lock up the stream. it's just kind of not playing out super good for us here. I'm going to take a little break, I think, mentally here. So, all right, guys, see if I can recover this or not, but I will see you guys later. Actually, you know what? We're going to stay on. I'm liking the short still. I'm backing on the short. I'm taking the short. I think we're going to get the push lower, hopefully. We'll see. If this one stops me out, I probably will walk away for the day, though, because that's not going to be great. They are making us work for every single dollar today. So I'm back down. It's frustrating. I was down 1,000. I got up to 250. Got down to 400. Got back up to 250, and now I'm back down to about $800 there. I just can't get the continuation, unfortunately, and you know, it is what it is. But VX and VIX are pushing. We're actually starting to look at putting some sellers in here on ES and NQ. So again, downside looks decent, but it's just not going. It's just not continuing lower. And every time they get an opportunity like this one right here, they're popping it up real quick and grabbing stop losses, and then they're dropping back down. So I'm just getting, unfortunately, I'm getting beat up a little bit.
Stop filled.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and step out. So, unfortunately, just getting beat up here. Now I'm down 1,200. Not looking super great for these accounts, but we shall see where we end up here. So, I'll see you guys later.